So Razer Kiyo with yet another webcam, and this in particular is very expensive. Webcams have been notorious for not being a good value for the money if you want decent quality video at a similar price. So when I see webcams that cost this much, I simply cannot look away. So with that said, introducing the Razer Kiyo Pro. Is it honestly worth it? Let's go ahead and dive right in. Before we continue, I just want to remind you that we have a Twitch channel where we stream every Friday and Saturday from 8 p.m. and to 10 p.m. Eastern time, so why not go ahead and drop a follow? And also don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and also make sure to check out the merch store. There's plenty of black and white sweetness to choose from up there, so go ahead and check that out. And then make sure to take a look at the podcast as well, as the podcast always goes live every Wednesday and Sunday. And with that said, enough rambling, let us get straight into the video. So for the first time, I'm actually going to be streaming with this camera tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time so that you can get a pretty good idea of what it's like to stream with a webcam like this, so do make sure to stop by for that if you're interested. Links to my Twitch are going to be down in the description. Now let's begin with an unboxing. It comes in this lovely green box from Razer, and upon opening it, you will find the instructions sitting right on top. Underneath, you're going to find the webcam itself in its full glory, and then past that, you will find the braided USB-C cable for data and a lens cap for covering the camera when you're not using it. The exterior design consists of plastic for the entirety of the build. Honestly, I was pretty disappointed by the build because the pictures make it look like it's metal, but this is indeed just a plastic shell. It does have that textured finish to the corners over here, like to that ring around it, and no, it doesn't work as a focus ring at all. In fact, it doesn't move at all. You may have noticed already, but this is a pretty gigantic camera as well, which potentially can be a great thing. This means that they can fit a bigger sensor if they wanted to, and it is clear that this was the aim here, which means that we can expect much better improvements in image quality in comparison to other webcams on the market. But of course, we do have to wait until we get to the testing in order to verify if that is true or not. But this tends to be because a lot of webcam manufacturers try to keep the webcams as small as possible, so they end up sacrificing on quality. However, there are more things about this webcam that I actually really like. The detachable USB-C cable is great because it means that if I ever need to replace the cable, I don't have to buy a new super expensive camera. There's also the very nice feeling mounting system for this, and it's actually pretty expansive on its own too. And despite the lack of chroma lighting, this webcam does look really nice in my opinion. So good on the aesthetics, but let's work on that build quality next time, shall we? Now this webcam features HDR, but it only works at 30 frames per second. This is also a wide angle lens. You do get uncompressed 1080p 60 recording at tops and what they call high performance adaptive light sensor. You can also adjust the webcam to either have manual or autofocus within Synapse, which is actually pretty cool. So how does it look? It actually looks pretty damn good in my opinion for a webcam. It's not very sharp on its own, but it still grabs quite a bit of detail from the subject, and I was honestly impressed with the quality that I got from this webcam, and the wide angle effect does look pretty nice. But you can also change it to linear mode or something like that if you do want a more standard look. This camera will obviously perform better under great lighting conditions, such as having even just a singular light source, like my key light for instance, on and pointed directly at me. The image will look pretty good and probably better than on any other webcam right now. Granted, I haven't tested the Brio or any of AverMedia's offerings so far, so I am definitely open to having my mind changed in that regard. Though, even in low light, it still does a pretty good job at capturing you. Even though obviously the image does get a lot grainier at this point, it's not as bad as what you're going to find from a lot of other webcams. This camera actually does a surprisingly good job at capturing you in low light if all that you got, for instance, is just your monitor lights on your face. It actually does a pretty good job there, which genuinely surprised me. It's not bad at all, especially for a webcam to perform this well in low light situations. This is certainly impressive. And dare I say that one of my favorite things about this webcam is actually that within Synapse you can customize it to pretty much your heart's content here. I mean, over here you can do things like adjust the brightness, adjust the contrast, and adjust more things along the line. And you can actually play around with the colors too if you want, and you've actually got a couple profiles to choose from, but you get the custom profile, which is obviously the way that I ended up going. So essentially, there is also going to be the option to go for more advanced settings, and over here you can adjust way more, like sharpness and things of the like. You're just going to have a ton of options over there, and you can make this thing look a lot better if you really wanted to, though on its own it already does a pretty good job, I would say. So honestly, good job on that regard, Razer, for actually taking advantage of having Synapse already, which is great. And so I made a few points of comparison to try to see how much better a webcam like this is to some of my favorite solutions. Comparing it to the much cheaper Logitech C920 yielded great results from the Kiyo Pro, as under the same lighting scenario, the Kiyo looked much clearer, the colors were more accurate, there was a lot less grain. It was just a vastly superior experience from what was the top recommendation for webcams, in my opinion at least. And over here, I should already have a side-by-side so that you can see what each one looks like respectively from the exact same angle, under the exact same lighting conditions. One of them is clearly better than the other in my opinion, and that is going to be the Razer here. But I still do have some complaints. For one, I'm not a fan of the build, since I do think this should have been a metal housing for webcam that is this expensive. I don't care how good it looks, let's get a nicer build on that premium ass camera. And the default colors are not exactly my favorite, as there seems to be a more emphasized red tone, so you're probably going to want to mess around over there a little bit more. And I do wish that there was a more obvious way of changing the frame rate on this one from 60 to 30 and vice versa, but it's not something that I noticed. I could have completely missed that. However, with that said, I do recommend this webcam as of posting this video, but I do have my reservations about it. Normally, I would advocate for getting a cheaper mirrorless or point-and-shoot camera with a cheap USB capture device instead. Since it's just more cost-effective and that you'll pay a little bit more probably, you would get mirrorless camera quality, which goes miles in making it a much better value. But due to the current global issues, that has become increasingly difficult to the point where even I'm struggling to recommend any cameras around that price range. So the Kiyo Pro did come at a great time where there just isn't much competition here for people looking for an upgrade, which is why if you do need that upgrade now, then I would just get the Razer Kiyo Pro. But I know that my mind will change in either a few months or a year, probably tops, when the market normalizes again and you can buy these things for cheap like you're supposed to. By then, I will probably tell everyone to stay away from this webcam, but if you are in need of a high quality webcam right now, then this is honestly the way to go. It is expensive for a webcam, which is why I do have all of these reservations about it, but it is a very good one at that. So with that said, highly recommended for now. And if you're interested in purchasing this webcam then I'll be making sure to leave affiliate links onto Amazon in the description. And if you end up also going down in that direction, then there's also going to be Luster. In case you're looking for any kind of alternatives, it is also going to be a great tool for helping you find sales and things of the like. It is super easy to just sign up because it's going to do all of that searching for you and even give you like a hierarchy of webcams that people tend to buy instead of the Razer Kiyo Pro, for instance. So links to that are going to be down in the description if you're interested. There's also going to be ABUNDA if you would rather just go like the financing route and just pay for this bit by bit. I understand if you go in that direction because this is an expensive webcam after all, so do keep that into consideration. No credit card required here. It's just very simple financing. Links to that down below. If you end up using any of my links, I get a small commission that does support the channel quite a bit, so I'd appreciate that quite a bit. And also, do make sure to subscribe to the Tech Summit podcast. We've also got the Tech Summit Discord, to do stop by for that. I do like to stream on Twitch every Friday and Saturday, and every time that I do a microphone review, and tonight as well, since I just reviewed a camera that is more so meant for streaming. But there's also going to be the rest of my social media over here, like my Instagram and if you're into that. So with that said, this has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you for watching, and I will be seeing you all later. Enjoy.